What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the all-new 2021 Toyota Supra 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo. Huge shout out and thank you to Flo Toyota of Statesville for providing this Toyota Supra for today's video. They have a huge selection of the 2021 Toyota lineup, so definitely check them out. And the model that we're looking at today is finished off in Renaissance Red and has an MSRP at $44,000. Underneath the hood, this utilizes a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged engine that cranks out 255 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. The engine is only paired to the 8-speed ZF automatic transmission and sends a power to the rear wheels. And with a curb weight just under 3,200 pounds, you can expect 0 to 60 time in 5 seconds flat with 155 mile-an-hour top speed. And then all running on a 13.7 gallon fuel tank, you can expect 25 miles per gallon in the city with 32 out on the highway. The overall length is 172.5 inches with wheelbase at 97.2, height is 51.1 with width at 73 inches, and then minimum ground clearance is 4.7 inches. The 4-cylinder Supra also features a set of ventilated rotors in all 4 corners measuring 13 inches in diameter, and you get floating brake calipers all around. As we all know, the inline 6-cylinder turbocharged Supra was the original concept for this Mark V car. New for 2021 is the availability of the inline 4-cylinder. This car is around 200 pounds lighter, has 130 less horsepower and 70 less pound-feet of torque. And then you get these standard brakes rather than the Brembo braking system, and then a few technology options are also limited for the 4-cylinder. If we take a look at the styling now, with this 2021 Toyota Supra, we get a beautiful set of LED headlights. They have 6 different LED beams within the housings. 3 of them are your headlights and the other 3 are your high beams. There's a massive LED daytime running light that also doubles as the turn signal. They cut all the way through the bumper and give it a really cool design. The housings are blacked out and they even have some red accents. The front bumper comes to a point towards the front and has a really modern design, and you also see the body color portions that cut all the way down into this lower splitter and cut towards the left and right side. You can see the 3 openings for the grille to allow maximum cooling to the radiators, as well as the satin black chin spoiler making its way around the entire front bumper. There's trim pieces on the farthest side of the bumper that mimic vents, and it all flows together very nicely to give it a sporty look. That central cone around the Toyota logo also fades right up into the hood with 2 sharp body lines going around where the front fender arches are. You also see a vent trim piece behind that portion, and you get a nice round bulge above the wheels to really give it that wider appearance. The entire hood is a clamshell design spanning from one tire to the next, has very flat lines around it just to give it a clean look. And then moving to the side profile, you can see the 18-inch wheels finished off in a split 5-spoke design. They're a 2-tone color with machined silver and gloss gray. They have a really nice look, especially in person, and they're wrapped with a Michelin tire. The backside of this front fender has a nice sloping line in the lower portion that goes all the way underneath the door. It has a really aggressive, wider appearance, and you can see a matching satin black side skirt. Within the door panel, there's a nice trim piece on the backside, and you can see a really clean line going through the central portion of these doors. We get body colored door handles and gloss black mirror caps with the integrated LED turn signal. And you also get black A-pillars that make this roof look like it's floating, and all of the glass blends together very well. The actual roof has a double bubble design for added room for when you're driving this out on the track wearing a helmet, and it really helps give it a sporty look. Looking at the rear fender arch, this has a lot of sculpture to it. I love how wide they are, and it really emphasizes the width and character with this Supra. All of those sloping lines even flow down to that side piece in the door, and then they go back towards the lip spoiler within the trunk. And then as we make our way to the rear end of the Supra, all of those sloping lines from the fender arch and trunk go together towards the back end of the car. You can see these LED taillights cutting outward, finished off with a red housing. They have a very sleek and upscale design, and they really help make the rear end look great. There's a trim piece on the farthest side of the bumper to add to the width, and you get another satin black trim piece for this entire rear diffuser. There's a lot of cool exaggerated lines and sharp fins. The LED reverse light is integrated right into the center, and you do get dual chrome tipped exhaust. You get the GR logo over on the right side and Supra right in the center, and then the backup camera right in the center of this bumper. So there's a good look at the exterior of the 2021 4-cylinder Toyota Supra. Comment below, what do you guys think of the performance specifications for this smaller car? And then the exterior look, you gotta love the styling. I love the way these look, especially in red. We now have Toyota's key fob. You get a cool little red stripe on the side. If I go ahead and lock the car, all I have to do is go up to it and grab the door handle, it's gonna automatically unlock and we can check out the interior. The Supra has a black interior, and you're also gonna see some carbon fiber and black trim all around. If we go ahead and take a look at the door panel now, it's finished off in black. You can see some black leather along this armrest with contrast stitching, as well as the grab handle above that. Both of your window controls and mirror controls are above that, and we have a nice aluminum colored release handle with lock and unlock. There's a little bit of storage down below with your trunk release and one of the speakers for the 4-speaker audio system. If we move our way inside, we have Toyota Supra on the aluminum door sill, even in the Toyota Supra font, which looks fantastic. The 4-cylinder Supra comes with a set of manual seats. You have your recline on the back, and then 2 different levers to make it go up and down. We also have your bolster support right here, and a piece up front to slide it forwards and back. We have a really nice set of 2-tone seats though. They're alcantara in the center with red trim in the perforated part and some nice stitching. We also get 2-tone stitching along the smooth black leather, and they have a really good look. I love the bolsters on the back. They're nice and aggressive but very comfortable. You can see all the stitching within the backs and the stitching going all the way up towards the headrest. And then if we spin around to the steering wheel, it's finished off in black leather with white stitching. And then now inside the car, keeping my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. We get a digital gauge cluster right in the center. You can see your tachometer in the center. That has a really cool look, as well as your gear. We have the temperature over on the right and your fuel level on the left side. If you tap the BC icon over on this left side, we can scroll through some of the information in the lower portion of the screen. And then if the car did have navigation, it would even come up on the screen when in use. Taking a look at the steering wheel now, we have the Toyota logo right in the center. The cruise control is over on the left. Then we get some Bluetooth and audio controls on the right side. We have a nice set of silver paddle shifters that have a pretty good look and feel to them. Your control for the wiper blades is over on the right, and then headlight high beams are on the left. To the left of the actual steering wheel now, we have all of your actual headlight controls and an interior dimming switch. We have one of the air vents and then some nice stitching going across the dashboard, all finished off in black. You can see how it carries on to the right side. You get some nice silver trim for the air vents on the passenger, and then 2 more air vents right in the center. And then taking a look at the 8.8-inch touchscreen display right now, we have a few different icons coming up. Of course, it's touchscreen like I said. You can go under notifications to see things in the vehicle. We also have the My Vehicle icon, which you can control a lot of different things. Going under vehicle status, you can see a lot of things. And then we can also control that using the dial down below. We have shortcuts all around it, like back and options, media, menu, and communication. This is a rotary dial that you can bump left, right, up, and down, and press it. So if I go ahead and take a look at the screen again, I can twist the dial, go under communication. You can scroll through everything in this car. We can also continue over to the vehicle. If you scroll all the way down, we have sport displays that come up and show your horsepower and torque. Then if I go ahead and take the car and put it into reverse, your standard backup camera will come right up. You can see the screen over on the right side with all of your guidelines. And then beneath the screen, you have your hazards, as well as all these shortcuts for your radio icons and your volume. You have climate controls right in the center with your fan speed right in the center, your 2 different dual zones with dual zone temperature. Defrost is on the left and right side of this icon, as well as your air conditioning button. And then taking a look at the center, we have a little bit of storage and a USB with a 12-volt, nice carbon fiber along the center, and some black trim to make this feel pretty driver focused. We also have an electronic parking brake, and then the engine start stop feature. If I go ahead and tap the sport mode now, this is when the car gets a little bit more aggressive. We have an individual mode as well that you can configure. We have steering, engine, and transmission that can all change. The steering can get a little bit tighter in sport versus normal. And then if I go back into engine, it also makes the engine throttle response a little bit sharper with the exhaust valve opening up. Transmission, it'll also shift a little bit quicker. So that is really cool to see. Behind the sport mode button now, we have your traction control as well as the safety system. If I go ahead and tap this icon, you can configure how you would like it. You can customize it as well. If I go under the customize setting, you have your front collision and lane departure that you can control. And then to the right, of course, we have that touchpad. And then in the center, we have some more black leather and stitching for the armrest, 2 cup holders, and then a little bit of storage back here for a nice cubby. And then taking a look at the glove box now, this opens up and you have quite a lot of space in here for a nice small car. And even on the passenger side, there is a storage net for smaller things. I really like how the 4-cylinder gets these alcantara seats. They look great with all the red accents to them. And the interior is nice and small to make you feel like you're in a good sports car. And then to take a look at the trunk space, you can tap the button on the key fob or the one on the door panel. It pops open and then we can lift this up. This is a nice lift back, so you actually have quite a lot of space to get in here. And this entire cover is removable if you want more space. You can see inside we have 2 speakers behind the seats and a pretty good amount of space with cutouts on the left and right side for added storage. And then there's handles up above. You can just grab it and close the trunk. All right guys, so we are setting off now in the 4-cylinder Toyota Supra. If you're new to the channel, I own a 2020 Toyota Supra, which of course has the 6-cylinder. Mine's heavily modified and tuned, so it has about double the power of this car. But it's still gonna be interesting to see what this car has to offer, at least over the standard stock one, or at least over just the normal 6-cylinder. So I'm in just the basic automatic mode right now, normal mode. We'll get up to some speed right now. It is nice and quiet, of course, being bone stock and just a smaller engine. Overall ride quality, so we don't have the adaptive suspension in this car and we don't have the big Brembo brakes, but ride quality feels pretty good even with the standard suspension. It absorbs the bumps very nicely. It is a solid car. You know, Toyota did a really good job working with BMW to develop this vehicle, and you still get those aspects that make it a nice car to drive. And we're still in just automatic, giving it a little bit of gas. You know, it's peppy. It gets up to speed pretty quickly. That wasn't even stressing the engine, around 4,000 RPM, and the car gets up to some speed. I like how it's still not a slow car. I've driven the 4-cylinder BMW Z4, which is pretty much what this car is based off of, and like I said, it's not a slow car. So with that said, let's go ahead and put us into the manual mode. Now I can shift with the paddle shifters, and then going into sport mode, the engine's gonna get a little bit louder. You heard those exhaust pops. The steering is gonna be a little bit tighter as well, and the transmission will shift quicker. So doing a downshift, hear just a little bit of pops. You know, that's actually pretty quick. I drove my car over here in the Valet Tune, which has around 270 wheel horsepower. So my car in Valet mode is actually identical to this car, and this performance felt just the same. I did that just so I could feel this out, and that kind of acceleration was just the same, which is kind of cool. Crazy how much more power the 6-cylinder, of course, is gonna have. But this is still a peppy car. It gets up to speed nicely. As far as actual interior noise and road noise and things like that, we'll tone it back down, automatic normal mode. It's a comfortable and quiet car. It's very premium feeling. I do like that integration with the car since you have a luxury brand helping design this. But it's a car, you know, with the cruise control and things like that, that you can sit back, relax, and just kind of cruise in a comfortable, luxurious vehicle. I like that aspect. As far as the fit and finish, I do love the seats. The Alcantara is so nice, much better than just the standard leather that the more expensive car gets. So I love the seats. The manual controls are a little bit getting used to. The 6-cylinder has the power controls, but other than that, the interior is pretty much the same. You don't have the navigation built in and heads-up display, but it still is all the same materials, leather on the steering wheel, the shifter, the padding. There's not too much padding on the armrest, but they're in good places to where you can still comfortably drive this car. So then in automatic, we'll just get into some traffic, giving it a little bit of gas. I feel like it does rev the engine a little bit higher when you're in automatic and you're giving it like half throttle. Because it's a smaller engine, you don't have all that crazy torque down low to where it can just bang through gears in the low RPM. So this engine being smaller, you have to use more of it, which I'm not used to. But nonetheless, I got up to 50 miles an hour without thinking, so it is nice and peppy, which is good. And then I'll go ahead and put us back into manual and sport mode. If you are in sport mode, actually we'll go back to automatic. Sport mode automatic, the transmission is much more aggressive. If you hit the brakes, it downshifts and keeps the revs pretty high. That way it's a more performance-oriented drive. And I feel like it's very nimble and tossable. The turbo actually is powerful. This is not a slow car. I was expecting it to be a little bit more underwhelming. There's not much top end. Like if I were to, redline it full throttle, it kind of does leave you wanting more if you were in the high RPM. But slow speed, even just driving around town, a little bit of gas in third. I mean, we're zipping up to speed. The turbo's pushing you back in your seat as well. So it's a pretty good power plant, and if you were to modify it and tune it, of course, you could bring this up a little bit more power, probably over 300 at the wheels even, but not too bad. And with the price point, the 86 is around the $30,000 mark, this is in the mid 40s, and then of course the 6-cylinder Supra is in the 50s. But it's nice how you have 3 different price ranges of Toyota sports cars now. So now, going a little bit quicker, we have a nice sweeping turn. The car is still nice and nimble. This probably is going to handle a little bit better than the 6-cylinder because we have less weight up front, and it really does carry its own. I don't feel like you're sacrificing too much in the normal drive. The biggest difference I'd say with this versus the 6-cylinder is the 6-cylinder, especially when modified, is a very high performance car with over 500 horsepower with the engine, and you can honestly get those to 600 horsepower without doing much, just better fuel and tuning. So the 6-cylinder is a high performance vehicle with a crazy amount of power. This car is a nice peppy sports car. It's nothing crazy fast, you know, it's not gonna blow your socks off. You're not gonna win any drag races out there, so don't try to race too many fast cars. But this is a quick vehicle that I think will really hold its own against a lot of cars in this category and even in this price range. So not bad at all. Turning radius is pretty much the same, nice and tight. We will get back up to some speed in sport mode. We'll go into the sport traction, just like my car has. This traction mode lets you slip it a little bit. Of course, I'm not going to do that in a brand new car at the dealership, but I like how with the 3-stage traction control, you have it on or all the way off if you want to do some donuts, or with it in the sport setting, it gives you some fun. It's quick, that's not bad at all. So I think that's about it then for the 4-cylinder Supra. I'm excited to drive and see what this has to offer. It's no 6-cylinder, it's not that high performance car, but this is a nice peppy car for a really affordable price. You know, around that 40 grand mark is pretty much an average price for a new car. So this, anybody can buy, and you're still getting a lot of fun. It looks amazing, of course, the inside nice and comfortable, and you get quite a lot of performance for the money. So I think that's it then. Hope you guys enjoyed the video with the 4-cylinder 2021 Toyota Supra. Huge shout out and thank you once again to Flow Toyota of Statesville for providing this Supra for today's video. Check out the link to their website. I bought my Supra from them, had a really good experience, so definitely check them out. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you like Toyota Supra content, I have quite a lot of videos of my own Supra with a ton of modifications and reviews of everything I've done with it, so check us out. So anyways, that's it. I'll see you guys next video.